Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Very, very happy to welcome Michael DeBar here to the program tonight. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing, extremely well given our circumstances. Everything seems to be okay.
Yeah. It's crazy times. It's definitely unprecedented, at least in our generation.
Dude, my whole life has been a disaster.
So you're used to this then?
I've practiced how to deal with these things. I mean, I don't mean to be trite. I'm just trying to keep a stiff upper lip and stiff all over. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on, and I'm very grateful to be able to do my radio show every day from my house. And play with my little cats and my beautiful wife. And, I just got to stay on the straight and narrow, baby.
Yeah, definitely. You've got a new EP coming out, a live EP.
That's right.
And I was reading that each song was sort of hand-picked, specially picked with like a purpose and stuff.
I don't know. I've never done anything sort of perfect. That's why I record the mistakes.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, it was a year ago. I wanted to go out and play, desperately play live, three-chord bluesy music that I love and I've loved for decades. And I have a bunch of guys that I really trust and like, and we decided to go out under the name of The Mistakes. And we did. And this was the second gig, and I've always recorded everything I've ever done, because I can, so I do. And then when COVID came down and, this desperate, dreadful thing of people, this pandemic, and all that it stands for, I thought, man, I have live stuff, I should put it out. And the essence of doing those gigs was like to re-explore what I've done and reinterpret songs that I love. And we did a 2-hour show, but I didn't want to put out that. It's too much. And I just chose those six, the Little Richard Medley and Knox tune that I sang with the Power Station, library. They all had extended reasons why I chose those, but they were also the best six from that second gig we've ever done.
Cool.
And who can tell if we'll ever do another one, But I'm very proud of it. There's no overdubs, man, the bass player didn't go in and do it all over again.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that because I hate all of that. I hate dancers and fireworks and teleprompters, and that's not what I, got into it for when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly, not now.
Yeah.
I like it, but the monitors work better. but there's no superfluous nonsense. It's just rock and roll.
I wanted to kind of go over, a few of the tracks just to get your take on them. Of course, the opener, "Hello New York," Silverhead tune. What was behind with doing that one?
Well, what it meant to me as a 20-year-old is going to New York and going to meeting Johnny Thunders and going back to the hotel and the hotel's on fire and hello New York. New York has always been for young British musicians the key, the creme de la creme of rock and roll in America. It symbolized America. And we all loved Elvis, and we all loved the blues, and New York seemed to personify that jump across the Atlantic, and all that Hollywood means and what America means to a young British musician was inspiring. And that night, it happened to be a crazy night. We went to Max's, we saw the Doors, we came back to the hotel with Johnny, and the fucking hotel's on fire. And we all scramble in the dark to get into a room. And then, we're all stoned out of our heads, of course.
Yeah.
And then the door suddenly collapses, and these huge New York firemen that were dressed like Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea outfits.
Yeah.
And they put us, like collectively we weighed 150 pounds.
Yeah.
So they threw their shoulders and took us down, and I just sat in the lobby leather trousers, and I thought, man, hello, New York.
That's a great story. Great story. The next
Uh,
track, "What's Going On?" Nice cover. You did a great job on that.
Thanks, man. Thanks. You know, I mean, obviously, one chose it because of what's happening,
Mm,
and it is as relevant today as it was when Marvin Gaye wrote it. And
yeah.
I've always loved Marvin Gaye. You know, he's a crooner.
Yeah.
I'm not. So I wanted to rock it up, and you know, and just to do our own particular vibe on it. But the band that I have is so good, you know, and I think what we wanted to do was just express how we were when we were kids, you know,
Mm,
when we first started.
yeah.
You know, so we had this sort of mutual vibe of, okay, so we're all 17 and we're in our bedrooms practicing, and that's the vibe we had at this rehearsal. And we rehearsed for a couple of hours and did this 2-hour show, you know,
Yeah.
6 of which are on the EP. So it's a very, you know, real
Yeah.
piece of music. Whether you dig it or not, you know, it's the best we could do and the most enjoying time we had when we did that show. You know,
Yeah.
the 200 people in the club.
Mm,
And I'll tell you, being in front of 200 people in a club makes Live Aid look insignificant because it's that concentration, that packed room,
mm.
the tiny room, and you're playing like so loud rock and roll music. There's nothing like that feeling.
So that leads me. You sort of answered my next question because the next song is "Get It On" by Power Station, which of course you did at Live Aid. I was going to ask, when you look out, do you see the Live Aid audience or do you see the audience in front of you? Obviously, you see the audience in front of you.
Well, I try to stay in the moment in all things I do. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, here it is, here I am. You know, and let's do it.
Mm,
And I've done that since I was a baby. You know, I'm 72 and I've been doing this shit for 60 years. So it's a situation where you just enjoy whatever the moment is. For
mm,
people, 800,000 people, you know, it's just a question of enjoying it and living it and breathing it and giving the audience something that they're going to remember. Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't care if it's 10 people or, what was it, 80,000
Yeah.
at JFK or 100,000 maybe.
Quite a few. Yeah. Definitely. Next track is "Detective Man." Of course, a detective tune. Very cool video for that song. Really like that. Um,
Oh, thanks.
how did "Detective Man" make the cut?
Well, because, you know, I was in the band Detective and it was Swan and it was Jimmy Page and it was
Mm,
Zeppelin and it was all of that. So there's a history to it. I also put it as the sleaziest cut we ever cut, yeah, because it's a very lazy, sensual kind of song, and that's what I love about rock and roll is the sexuality of it, the bluesiness of it, chasing this girl to kind of find her. You know, it had a certain sort of compelling feel to it, and you know, but the bottom line is we played it great.
yeah.
It could have been anything. The choices were not really symbolic. They were which works the best, you know,
Mm,
which are you enjoying the best. You
yeah.
know what I mean, Lance?
Yeah. Yeah. The songs that you get up and you love
It's,
to
it's,
play. You know.
yeah, it's just a sense of joy of
Hmm.
doing it, and that was the choice. You know,
Yeah.
which ones did we have fun doing? You know,
Yeah.
there was no real consideration
Mm.
of it. It just turned happen.
And playing it for the joy of it, is that what led to the Little Richard medley at the end? I love the "Do you want to dance" line. That's great.
Oh yeah, yeah, you heard that. Yeah, well, that's the mood I was in. You know, it's on in the music. You can hear it. It's fun. Everybody's enjoying themselves. You know, everybody's playing together as one. And for me, the guy who created what I love to do is Little Richard.
Mm. Yeah.
There's never been anybody like Little Richard.
No.
You know, that would bring such joy and such sexuality, such an inclusive feel to his music.
Mm.
You know, I mean, it's so simplistic and yet it's got a magical vibe to it. All of his music, I love Little Richard.
Mm.
And the other thing is the audience adores that music.
Hmm.
You know, if you took the Foo Fighters hypothetically, or Justin Bieber, or whatever, and suddenly
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
it's
agree.
just innate in our consciousness and our chromosomes. You know, Richard, that groove is like irresistible.
Yeah.
And to play it is ecstasy. And we were there to have fun, you know. We
Mm-hmm.
weren't there to get a record deal or to impress girls or to,
Yeah.
we were there to have fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree that that real classic early rock and roll just transcends everything. I mean, back in the day, I used to DJ dances and stuff. And if I had a couple
Yeah,
minutes that I needed to fill at the end of the night, because traditionally you played a slow song at the end of the night, but if I had a couple minutes for something really quick up tempo, I don't care if I was playing a high school, if I was playing a wedding, if I was playing for a bunch of senior citizens at a nursing home, I grabbed Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire, and the floor filled. You know?
yeah, absolutely right. That era of abandon,
Mm-hmm.
is something that, on my radio show, I play Little Richard a lot,
Mm-hmm.
clearly, because it is the real thing. It's the authentic combination of gospel music, of soul music, of blues music, which translated into rock and roll, you know, those grooves.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Lee Lewis' exuberance alone is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
And I have Great Balls of Fire anyway.
There you go. Exactly.
I have to go fucking Live Aid. Robert's out, Michael's in, he's got 3 days to learn 30 songs, let's go. That's what happened.
That's what they call wood shedding, right?
No, that's called shitting.
Okay. Shitting your pants, yeah.
I was very, I can adapt real quick,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a fabulous experience, and I loved it. It was 6 months, and it was great. And I had that song Obsession was number one over the world, and it was a hell of a year. And I did my first episode of Murdoch that year.
Mm.
So it was a pretty interesting year.
It was. It was. I want to take you to another TV show you did. This was one of my all-time favorite shows. Was the original WKRP in Cincinnati, where
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic.
Scum of the Earth.
Women,
I
dog.
yes. All right.
I've got more male and more
Go ahead.
dog about Jimmy Page.
Mm.
No, WKRP is so funny because all these TV shows, I do, 120 hours of it?
Yeah.
Somewhere it's being played now as we speak. So it's an amazing thing, man. That episode was so fun. I mean, I can't even tell you. The roaches are giving us with dog and stuff and safety pins. And I said, no. Suits and ties.
Yeah.
Let's do it now. It's funny, and it worked.
Oh, absolutely. All right. The first question I've got to ask, Rick, because you're the only guy I know who I will probably ever talk to who saw them both. Who was hotter, Bailey or Jennifer? Jennifer? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because Ronnie was going for Jane Mansfield sort of vibe.
Yeah.
The Ireland thing. And that's great, but Jennifer was genuinely herself. And I find that sexier than, creating an image that we're so used to.
Yeah.
I like intrigue and newness, and she has that. Yeah. Sexy girl.
The other thing I got to ask if you ever knew this, I watched a reunion thing on WKRP, and remember when you guys all walked into the reception area, I guess, they had that big banner up that said, "Welcome, Scum."
Yeah.
Did you hear the story about CBS had flown a lot of brass in from a lot of their affiliates, and they were giving them tours of the studio that day? And when they came through and saw that banner that said "Welcome, Scum," they thought they were talking about the affiliate people. They wanted, they had to take the banner down or something.
Oh God, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of people send me shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people will send me "Welcome, Scum" banners.
Yeah.
I mean, that really struck a note. It struck a note for some reason. I have no idea. But it was a really fun week. And I was stoned out of my mind for the entire week. Believe me.
Yeah.
And I had to, and it was detective too. too. A couple of the guys.
Right. Yes. Yes. The other thing I've got to ask you that intrigued me, I read about one thing. I think this was in Detective. You recorded a song "Ain't None of Your Business" with Peter Criss from Kiss on vocals.
No, Kiss did it. Kiss did they were looking for that current album, and that song they did, Kiss. Our version was our version. Peter sang the song, but for Kiss, not with us.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That's the distinguishing factor. Kiss did it, and I don't think it ended up on an album of theirs. I can't even remember if it ended up on an album of mine.
Yeah.
But it was a great song. Fantastic bluesy song.
Yeah. You talked about being, stoned out of your mind for WKRP and everything. I read you gave that all up back in '81, just cold turkey, no 12 steps, no rehab, no nothing, just stopped?
Just God.
Yeah.
Just that God was my savior. It's a circus. It's for kids. Drugs. And I realized that, almost immediately, I was introduced to this program, and I stuck to it, and I didn't waver. And I was a hardcore heroin addict, and I quit. June 19th, 1981.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing about that program is it's so great because what it is it gets you outside of your head, and you're trying to be of service to people and talk about how you stay sober, clean, and it really does help. And that's why I started RAD, Rock Against Drugs, which I did right after the bus station because I had a little bit of clout. And I went to MTV and I said, let's do this thing RAD. And we got Steve Jones and Billy Idol and Ozzy and John Bon Jovi and 30 Second Spots and Rock Against Drugs, RAD.
Yeah.
And I got the money from Coca-Cola and from one other entity. What was it? The government. The government gave it. We went to Washington. Me and Steve Jones and the Sex Pistols went to Washington, got money out of it to get kids off dope. How about that?
That's good. Oh.
Oh man, that was amazing. Shooting some of those things. Ozzy was stoned when he did it. You know what I mean? And it didn't matter to me. Because what mattered to me was what are the kids going to feel? How are they going to feel when they see the Prince of Darkness say, drugs suck, It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me, and I've stayed that way. That's why I'm able to do what I can do at this stage of my life.
Yeah, I read somewhere you say you're like 72 years old and you've got a 29-inch waist or something like that.
That's right. That's me.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the headline of Rolling Stone. Michael DeVries, a 29-inch waist. I was born in 1929. Yeah. But I mean, I stay really healthy.
Yeah.
I do. I love what I do, and it makes me feel alive and good and capable, and I can write songs, and do what I've done all my life since I was a kid. I mean, I started all those years ago in To Fill With Love with Sidney Poitier. It's a hell of a way to begin your career.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to mention that too. And I understand when you still see each other, he still pulls your sunglasses off or your glasses off.
I've seen him a few times, and we always joke about it, And people always say, "Hey, Michael, where are those sunglasses? Do you still have them?" And of course I don't.
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal thing because, I mean, if you look at the photographs of me in those days, I look like Liam Gallagher. I mean, nothing changes.
Yeah.
Rock and roll is a symbiotic thing that continues to, the ritual of it, the shades, the hair, now, of course, it is very different because of the incredible composers, the musicians that use technology. I think it's fantastic. It's not what I do, but I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But true rock and roll is always going to be that, loud, raucous, sweet-core, bluesy, sunglasses, leather jacket rock and roll, right?
Yeah. Stephen was born to be wild, That's That's where it's all at.
That's right.
I want to go back to your past a little bit because, and I'm going to try and tie this in with some quotes I read about you because your story is just so fascinating from where you were to where you are now, where you've been, the journey along the way. You never really knew your parents. You spent time in some really, I think I can pull this quote out of an interview, some violent boarding schools.
Yeah, dreadful.
But yet, somehow you kept going where other people don't. What drove you to keep persevering?
Anger.
Really?
Yeah, in many ways, I thought I'm going to get you, and you're not going to get me. Now that is on the surface a negative feeling, but when you're on your own and you don't, I didn't experience parental. I didn't have a mother or father. I stayed in these boarding schools, in the vacation period.
Yeah.
So therefore, I had to learn how to take care of myself. And that, in the beginning, is a very violent thing, and you're so angry about it. How dare that happen to me? But then you take into the gratitude of being able to combat such a dreadful life. That it could have been, but it wasn't. It emboldened me to want to be great and want to work and create and entertain people. It's a weird symbiosis of, in the beginning, we're really angry, and then that sort of turns into a loving state where you feel grateful for friends and for fresh air and for health, and the ability to be able to play a guitar or sing or act. It was a quick lesson of gratitude is what saved my life.
And I guess that sort of leads to this quote that I read that I love that you said, tomorrow doesn't exist, be fabulous right now.
Fucking right. That's been my entire life is right there in that sentence.
Yeah. That's a great...
I'm interested in yesterday, I'm interested in tomorrow, I'm interested in talking to you.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
And the other one that I read is be proud of what you do it well, and have fun, and you've won. And I guess that sort of ties in with the story that you just told, with being having gratitude as well,
Yeah, and yes, and most of all, enjoy yourself. I mean, people would say, well, you took over from Robert Palmer. I mean, those are big shoes to fill, and I'd say I have my own fucking shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, replacing anyone. That's not the way I look at it at all, It's just how you view. I think there's so much sort of insecurity out there from people, and it comes at you, and you get sucked into that. Am I good enough? Am I doing a good job? And why wasn't the record bigger? Why wasn't the band bigger? Why wasn't this? I don't think like that. I never have. I'm so grateful to get out of that boarding school, and at 16 to go, and start making movies and music. I mean, it's if you just look at what happened, I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Talent has a lot to do with it, though. I mean, well, they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity, though.
Well, I'm always ready.
Yeah, there you go.
I always tell kids, the youngins, I say, be ready.
Yeah.
So when I'm in Texas with Don Johnson and we're having a laugh, and the phone rings and the guy says, coming to New York, there's a band that needs a singer. I was ready because I work out every day.
Yeah.
And I eat well, and I run, and I be good to people. And I swear to you that this magic spell of good luck is being ready and caring about what's happening around you. So it's not self-aggrandizement,
Yeah.
It's giving, it's a gift.
Yeah.
Giving. And rock and roll has always been that to me.
Definitely.
It's not been adrenalizing me. It doesn't govern me. It's not in my veins.
go. I want to go back to some comments you made a couple minutes ago about with people, the insecurities and stuff that people have. Why was this good enough? And it's so easy today, nowadays, especially with social media and how people can become what they call keyboard warriors and all this stuff. Another quote I read, and I love this. This has really been my mantra since I've read it. You can only do how do I have it here? You can only do it how you do it. How people react is their business. Your business is to do the next thing.
Yeah.
Not so much rest on your laurels.
Well, I think so many people echo and recreate themselves in the image of somebody else, or the music, or whatever it is. You have to find out what you love and do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no other way of doing it for me.
Right. But I love that how people react is their business. Your business is to do the next thing. Spoke to me.
That makes sense, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It seems so obvious to me.
Mm.
I don't even think of it as a quote. I mean, it's like good morning.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just it's so intrinsic in me. It's a very different. You live a very different life when you haven't been raised. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
By parental units.
Yes.
If that doesn't happen, you live a different life.
Yeah. True.
Where everybody becomes your mother and father. Everybody becomes your lover.
Mm.
You can't distinguish. You don't have those genes.
Yeah.
My genes obviously have a 29-inch waist.
And I was going to say, when everybody becomes your lover, even when you come to Burlington, Vermont,
Especially Burlington, Vermont.
Oh. Tell me, let's go back to like 1967. One of the first bands you were in was Orange Illusion with Daryl Reed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
That's Wikipedia nonsense.
Ah.
And I didn't have an affair with Freddie Mercury either.
I did not read that.
So much bullshit. There's so much nonsense out there. I mean, I was in the Knack, apparently. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many, but that's just not. There was no band. I was at drama school,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Daryl Reed, who is mentioned in that, has sort of, I suppose, used that as some kind of, I don't know, way of getting ahead. Maybe, I don't know.
Mm.
We sat down in a room and played Stray Cat Blues once.
Really?
Indeed, an illusion.
Yeah. I guess the question was, starting back then at that age, was the plan to keep doing this? I mean, did you ever dream this many years later you would still be doing it, or you were just living in the moment?
I've never had a plan, I never really had a plan. It all just happened to me.
Mm.
I'd leave the boarding school, I'd go to drama school, I wanted to act, and 2 weeks into drama school, Columbia Pictures sent producers over to cast To Sell with Love, and I auditioned and I got it, and 3 weeks later I was at Pinewood Studios with Sidney Poitier, and we did To Sell with Love, and it just went from there.
Wow.
I mean, I've never planned anything, not a fucking thing, and these things have just happened. I was ready. I've always been ready. And the movie allowed me then the celebrity status to be able to go to the clubs in the late 60s in London. Now, you can imagine what that was like. When the sidewalks were paved with velvet. This is rock and roll. And every night I'm seeing the Yardbirds, the Animals, Nashville Keens, all of these incredible bands every night. And I did that musical. I did a musical called The Dirtiest Show in Town. It was a nude musical. And I'm 20. And Andrew Lloyd Webber comes to see it. And he's doing the demos for Jesus Christ Superstar with Tim Rice.
Yeah.
And I'm singing. And he comes back and says, listen, would you come and sing demos for this thing we're doing called Jesus Christ Superstar? And I said, yeah. And I sang. And Ian Gillan was singing also.
Wow.
Another role.
Okay.
And Andrew had this relationship with Ian Gillan, and therefore Purple Records was Deep Purple's label. So Andrew Lloyd Webber takes me to And within one afternoon, we got all these skinny, beautiful people, boys, but androgynous, and Silverhead was born. And for the next 2-3 years, that's what I did, tour the world with those guys.
Wow. Wow. You've talked about the things you've fallen into and that you were always ready. Was there ever anything that came up, be it theater, music, TV, movies, anything that surprised you or had intimidated you at all going into it?
That's a great question, and the answer is intimidation is not part of my vocabulary.
Mm.
There's nothing, once you've lived a life like I've lived in the early days of it, nothing can intimidate you because you've been looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Who's going to intimidate me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get, I had to do a lot of stuff in school from the other boys because I was different,
Yeah.
and that was dangerous, and I really had to look after myself, and I did, and I threw a punch when necessary.
Wow.
But intimidation, no, because I can run really fast too.
That definitely always helps. If you were to give advice to someone who came up to you and said, Mr. Jabbar, I'd like to get into theater or acting or music, someone, fairly new to it, what type of advice would you give them?
I would give them no advice.
Really?
I don't believe in advice. Because the thing is, you've got to find out for yourself, man. You've got to find out for yourself. First of all, you've got to find yourself, and that self will tell you what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you, give you advice. You have to see the world, understand yourself. Go deep within and find out who you are, what you can do, and what you can give to the world, not what you can take from the world.
Definitely.
People grow up and they think they're going to take something. Take it, man. Take it while it's hot. With me, it's take it easy. And you'll be okay. But advice, I would never give anybody advice. Hey, so you work really hard and you stay in shape, and what am I going to say?
Yeah.
It's a spiritual thing. It's a metaphysical thing. It's not rules and regulations. It's just believe in yourself. That's all. But in order to do that, you have to do good things.
Yeah.
You have to be generous. You have to care. About our planet and care about people.
Yeah.
All the great leaders and mystics have said the same thing. That you stay in the moment. You stay here, right now. That's all that matters. Yesterday, tomorrow, well, these are not real things. You stay in the moment, be cool, be kind, be courageous.
Definitely good words, particularly in the times that we are right now. A lot of people struggling, and definitely to stay in that moment is where you need to be.
Well, it's the only place we've got.
Right.
So acceptance is the key. I mean, I always say on the radio, I always finish with be kind, be cool, be courageous, and I always stress the idea of acceptance and forgiveness, because accepting what's happening is a lot better than fighting it, and forgiving people who have hurt you is even more important.
Right. Yeah.
You can't carry the shit around with you because you'll die. You'll get cancer and die. Cancer is lying to yourself. Cancer is being totally sort of misogynistic or whatever the words would be that are negative. That's what causes these diseases. I believe.
Very, yeah. Great thought. I want to ask you, because this is sort of something I struggle with. Well, I got you. You talk about being in the moment, and yesterday's gone and tomorrow's not here, just be fabulous right now. Do you deal with it? And I know you're going to tell me no, but I guess I still want to ask the question anyway. Do you deal with any type of regrets, any type of, do you have a tough time letting go of anything from your past, or are you able to just let it go? And if you do, how do you?
No. I mean, it's clear. 5 years, et large, je regrette rien. I regret nothing. No. Because even the difficulties with drug addiction and all of that, I mean, I learned so much. I learned what I didn't want. And it's more important to learn that than what you do want.
Yeah. Learn a lot about what not to do, you know?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know, and then what you want to do will manifest. But you've got to understand what you can't do, what you mustn't do, and that is be cruel. You know, and use people, and all of that. Not cool. You can be, you know, the biggest star in the world and be absolutely miserable. And unfortunately, that happens more often than not. Because there is no top. There is no number one. You could be number one for 2 years, maybe. You know, it's a very interesting thing, fame, and the whole notion of it. You know, it's meaningless. It's meaningless. You know, have people around that love you and you love, and that's it, man. And have a 29-inch waist.
And a great radio show.
And a great radio show. I love doing that because it's somebody else's music. You know, I do so much research. I mean, I you know, in terms of hypothetically, I'm playing the Temptations. I know every name. I know what they're wearing when they sang "Can't Get Next to You, Babe." You know, I just give context to these songs on the radio, Sirius XM, Channel 21, Monday through Friday, MDB, Little Stevens Underground Garage. Incredible.
How did you come to be doing that show?
Get the job? Well, what happened was in the 80s, me and Jonesy had a band, Check a Past, and we opened for Stevie when he was with the Disciples of Soul.
Okay.
And I just loved him, you know, we got along great. And years later, I was doing an internet interview program. This is about 10 years ago, and I was interviewing Marianne Williamson, a fascinating woman. And Maureen Van Zant's beautiful wife saw me doing this. Andrew McGolding had the morning DJ spot for Little Stevens Underground Garage and Sirius XM. And he left. He had to leave. He had a physical vibe. And Maureen said, get MDB. And then I did it for a couple of weeks. And then Steven said, yes, you know, I want you to be the morning DJ in New York City. And in the evenings, I'm LA's DJ. And I've been doing it for almost 7 years, every day.
Yeah. But if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a beautiful thing to play other people's music, you see. This is why it's so innovating and inspiring, because you're exuberant about something other than yourself.
Right. Yeah. Almost.
And it makes it more enjoyable to be exuberant about yourself when you know that you appreciate somebody else. Then you can really feel good about yourself.
Definitely. Going forward now, do you have any plans, any projects you're working on now that you're excited about, or anything? Or are you just taking it day by day?
Well, the latter, but I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing. You know, I'm doing an animated series for Disney, The Voices. I'm doing a video game for Warner Brothers. You know, a green screen thing, you know, Demon, that I can't even tell you. It's so, like, you know, you have to sign so many of these. You can't tell anybody about anything anymore. I'm writing a musical about the Marquis de Sade with my friend Roger Greenawalt, which is orchestrated. It's really something I've never attempted and really satisfying. The Sade, of course, the word sadist comes from the Marquis de Sade, who was this degenerate man that lived in the 1700s in France, during French Revolution stuff. And, you know, I mean, and I read a lot. And I also do a 3-hour radio program every day, so that it requires a lot of research.
Yeah, definitely. About how long do you research for each show, or does it vary?
Well, I have a feature called Crossroads every day. I explore an artist for a week. Like this week, I'm doing Curtis Mayfield.
Mm.
And I go deeply into their lives, not so much the pragmatics of August that, Push a Man was number 3, but more importantly, where did Curtis Mayfield come from? Where was he born? Did he begin at gospel? Yes, he did. Did he go to Chicago? Yes, he did. What did he write? Who did he write with? Why did he get funky? Why did he do blaxploitation movies? All of these things are interesting to me, and I study it, and then I spit it out to the audience, and then I get 1,000 letters, asking, to go further. So it's extraordinary, the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Fascinating conversation.
What's that?
I was just saying, fascinating conversation. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. I've enjoyed it tremendously. I mean, it's just terribly important to connect with people and don't have any preconceptions about who they are. Just be. Take it easy, but take it.
Yeah. Once again, he's got an EP out, Michael Desires and the Mistakes, a live EP. It's 6 great tracks. It's just straight up, rock and roll is what it is. Michael, I always like to end my interviews with just sort of some silly questions, some fun questions. Maybe this will even be something you've never been asked before. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds fantastic.
Is there a clothing style from the past that you would like to see come current right now?
Yes.
What would that be?
You want to know what it is?
Tell me.
Lord Byron. Lord Byron was a romantic poet in the 1800s. He wore skin-tight riding breeches with boots up to his knee. He wore shirts with furs on them, not like Jerry Seinfeld, cooler than that, and a purple velvet jacket with a red scarf, sort of longish hair, makeup. Men in those days used to wear a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
And I think that would come back. Should come back tonight. And it's what I've been wearing for the last 30 years.
Okay.
So I'd say, take on the characteristics of a romantic poet, and your life will be magnificent.
There you go. Is there something you've always wanted to learn how to do, but you just haven't got around to doing yet? No? All right. If you could blink and appear anywhere in the world, where would you?
What?
If you could blink and appear anywhere in the world, where would you want to travel to?
Oh, gosh, I'm quite happy where I am.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Very cool.
I mean, I've been everywhere. What am I going to do? Blink and be in London? I mean,
Yeah.
No, I'm really happy with where I am right now in my studio talking to you. That's fine.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Given your choice of household chores, would you rather do dishes or the laundry?
I like folding laundry. Which reminds me of Chauncey Gardner. Do you remember that movie? Peter Sellers being there. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Well, he played this really simplistic man, almost, sort of challenged on a mental level. But everything that he said sounded so important. Like when he said, I like folding laundry. It's a metaphysical secret. But the truth of the matter is, I'll do the dishes. It's how you do it.
Yeah.
If you do it like you hate washing dishes, you're going to get, cancer.
Gotta love what you're doing,
I think so.
Yeah. All right, last one. If you're going to take a day off from, say, music,
What is that?
What's that?
What is that? What is that?
A day off?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. If you're going to spend a day and you're not and you're not going to do something musical, theatrical, anything like that, What would you
Yeah.
do, or do you have a day like that?
I run.
You run. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do people
I run.
recognize you when you're out running?
You with a fucking mask on.
Ah, that's true. That's true. Very true.
That's why I hate these masks. I don't get recognized. It's a nightmare. Michael, none of that. I don't get that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so funny because whenever I do go out into the world, pre-mask, and I would go to the Ralph's or the stores, and then, people would be right up and doing this or whatever. Was Joe Taylor really that gorgeous or whatever that it was? But now you go out and I look like the Lone Ranger, and it's like people just, it's funny.
Yeah.
I wrote a poem about it actually. I've been writing a lot of poetry, and I wrote a poem about the mask because if you look at it this way, when Paul, actually his name was Saul in the Bible, he was a slave master, and on the way to Damascus, he saw the light, and he became this saint, Saint Paul. And I suddenly saw the word Damascus is Damascus. And I thought, my goodness, that's a spiritual breakthrough. To demask us right now would mean that COVID had gone. And I felt that was so incredibly important to break that word down. And it's from the Bible, So it has a very metaphysical connection. Yesterday this happened to me. Damascus. Damascus was this place,
Right.
And in the Bible. And I thought, yes, the day that we can demask is a good day.
It will be. It will be a good day. And hopefully it comes soon. So, Michael, I truly appreciate the time that you've taken to talk to me tonight. It's been, like I said, a fascinating conversation. It's very, very cool, a thrill, and it will be one I will remember for a long, long time. And I thank you.
I'm lovely of you to say so. That's so kind. I've enjoyed it thoroughly myself. And you take care of yourself, Lance, and everybody around you.
You too, Michael. Bye-bye.